new realm. The darkness was an ominous new entity. It beckoned those willing to enter to do so, but it never promised to release you. The men's block looked startlingly different than it had earlier. Shadows jumped and shifted from the torchlight as the hunters' voices resonated around the ring. Scott allowed them to filter into the block, giving them a few minutes to get their bearings and enter the nearest cells to investigate. Okay, Scott's voice echoed. In pairs, pick a cell and go in. I'm going to get the spirit box out and walk around. Turning round, Helen's small torch encroached on the small sections of the black curtain, which shrouded the interior of a small room behind her. The door was the same as the cells, but the sign on the door read officer's room. Slowly, she took a tentative step inside, realizing it was much larger than she thought. Another step, and as she decided to walk inside, a voice behind her ear yelled, "Get out."
And we're live. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Jay, Brandon, and tonight we are joined by accredited author Tasha Brown, and she'll be discussing her new book.
Yes, sir.
It is called Into the Light, or Never Left.
I never left.
Never Left. Now, you said this is a part of a trilogy, correct?
So far, yes.
Are you going to make it into more?
Quite possibly, yeah. It's
really?
The first three books are basically one story that kind of stretches over. There's a lot of side stories, but it's one story that kind of goes through the whole trilogy. But I'm thinking there could be a few more.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Now, like, where did you start the book at? Did, like, any of the characters based off of like real life people and stuff?
Yeah. I sat on the main premise of the story for about 4, maybe 5 years, and there was always something missing. And I went on an investigation, my first ever ghost hunt, at a local prison, and suddenly all the missing pieces for this book fell into place. And so I wove my experiences into the book.
Oh, nice.
That
is definitely really cool. Now, tell us a little bit about the book. Like, what's it based on? What timeline?
So it's based on the here and now, as it were. It's about a woman who has a car accident and she loses her memory. When she comes out of hospital, she goes home to the place that she's told is her home, and she starts having paranormal things happening around the house. And in a bid to find out more about why she's being haunted, she enlists the help of a paranormal investigator who then helps her to uncover an even bigger story linked with her house.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
Now, continue on about telling us like everything about like so who's the main character and everything like that.
Okay, so the main character is a woman called Helen Sadler, and she actually lives in a little cottage in a village called Lantern Cottage, and she works as a kind of a housekeeper with in a big mansion, an empty mansion, which is just up the road from her. And the other main character will be Scott Miller, who is a paranormal investigator who comes in and helps her to understand what's basically going on, because she thinks she's cursed, and because she has no recollection of her life before leaving the hospital, she's eager to know why these things are happening to her.
Oh, really? That's really cool. Now, were your books all based on paranormal, or were they always like different subjects, or you just have a love for
I've got 4 books out before this one, which were sci-fi fantasy, and they were to deal with Nikola Tesla. Actually, I'm a big fan of Nikola Tesla, and so they're completely different genre to this one. But this one is something close to me, I guess, because I live in a haunted house. So it just made sense to write about it, basically.
Right. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. You can actually relate to the subject, you know? I mean, now, have you always been interested in writing, or is it something that you discovered more into your adult life?
No, I have wanted to write since I could pick up a pencil. But it took, I've had a big car accident, and I went into hospital. I ended up having 5 major surgeries, and I died twice with the first one and the third one. And when I'd finished having all my surgery, the surgeon said, go and enjoy your life and, you know, live it. And so then I was like, I've always wanted to write. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you said you're connected to the paranormal too. Now, did that happen after you died, or was that just something you've always been connected to?
Always been connected to. I can remember my first probably real vivid paranormal experience was when my nan died. Back then, your parents didn't really tell you. I was so young that the reason you didn't see your nan anymore was because she had passed. But I remember being over at my nan's house, and my mum and my aunt were cleaning out her cupboard. And I remember seeing my nan stood behind looking sad. And I went to say something, and my nan put her finger to her lips and just went, no. And and I vividly remember that. I've been able to see, hear, and sense people that have moved on for a long time. I can remember being in the front garden and waving to a chap across the road, and my mum said, who are you waving to? And I was like, oh, you know, Mr. G, who, you know, he walks up the road every day. I wave to him. And my mum just looked at me and said, he's been dead for about a month now, love. I was like,
wow.
I've been watching him. I wave to him every day. Just, you know, to me, it was not, well, it was kind of normal. I didn't tell anybody because I thought I was cursed, basically.
Right.
I've spent 40 odd years. You know, it's here in England, it's not widely something that you spoke about. And it's only in the last 3 years, I think, that I realized that people actually acknowledge this. I didn't even know they went looking for them, you know, on paranormal investigations. It was my youngest daughter who introduced me to paranormal shows on TV, and I was like, people do this, and it just made things make sense.
Right.
Well, I'm a bit late to the party, really.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's all good though.
Yeah, it's like definitely like it's everybody advances at their own stage when it comes to the paranormal world. You know, it's like you have people that have been doing it forever, you know, and then you have people that like, you know, are brand new to it and they just have just as much experience as the people that have been doing it forever, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about how connected you are and how open-minded you are, and like how skeptical you can be on certain aspects. You know, you can't just go into an investigation and jump to, you know, everything is, oh, that's definitely paranormal, when in fact it could be something totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everyone does investigations different. There's no right or wrong way of doing anything. So
yeah,
we all just have to learn from our own personal experiences with it.
Right. Yeah. And now, how have they related to your writing ability, you think? Like, do you ever like have like a paranormal experience or something like that? Then next thing you know, you go write it all down and it just like comes to you?
Yeah. I've had a recent experience with that. When I started going on the paranormal events, I was also I've had visions and things for a long time that have come true. And I'd had a couple of reoccurring ones about a music box. And it got to the stage where I put some of the dreams and things that I was having into my writing. I was writing about this music box, and the story has unfolded. Part of the hauntings that I'm getting are in actual fact part and parcel of the writing that I've done. And a psychic medium got hold of me because everybody knows that I've been looking for this music box. There are 8 other people who know about the music box and who have had experience with the haunting of this particular music box that I've never met. And when they were talking to me on the phone about this case that they thought they were dealing with, I thought they were reading my manuscript that I'd written it, but I hadn't even submitted it or done anything else with it yet. And it was almost word for word. And we were exchanging information. And I was like, how did you get hold of my manuscript? Because I've literally spent 3 weeks sat here writing this story, and you've just said X, Y, and Z to me. And I'm writing it from my experience of the hauntings that are going on here, but you guys have all experienced exactly the same thing. So that's a little bit strange. It's taken a bit of getting used to.
I'd say so. I mean, that's crazy, but
yeah, and it's still the haunting is still going on. I had a lead on a music box, but it turned out to not be the one that I'm looking for.
Really?
But it did give me the name of the person that I'm dealing with, the spirit that I'm dealing with, and it gave me where he lives and where he worked.
Right on. Now, have you been able to like contact this person or anything like that to talk to him or her about?
I've spoken on a spirit box. I have the actual person. It was 1903. Okay. Yeah. So,
well, this is
good, but not that
good. Yeah, I don't want to talk to somebody. Have you looked at it on like the death records or anything like that, like around your area, to see if you can find?
It's not in my area either. It's I'm kind of down here in the bottom, and it's up here in the country. It's about a 4-hour drive from my house to where this is.
Huh, that's wild. That's wild.
And all the people involved are all scattered across the country as well.
Okay.
It's pretty surreal.
Yeah, that's gotta be. That's pretty wild. But it would be a fun road trip.
Yes. Yes.
Music box.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Just don't have any butter knives in your car. Don't want to get you arrested.
No handguns.
You don't want to plug someone out.
Now, when is this book officially released?
So I Never Left is out now.
Okay.
The second one, we've just had a few difficulties. I noticed there was an anomaly in the book. Between Realms, Emily May should have come out at the beginning of September, but it's being delayed. It will probably now be the end of September. It's a printing problem that they have.
Okay.
Not actually with my manuscript, which was like, yay. So they're dealing with it, but it'll probably be the end now. But that's good because that gives me a little bit more time to wrap up the end of the story, which comes out in the second one is Between Realms, Emily May, which is about a young spirit who goes missing. And her story will conclude in the Between Realms, the music box, which is the third book. But tied in with that third book, I'm also writing the music box, the real story, because obviously it's happening to me, and it's a story I think that needs to be told.
Right, it's gonna be like the music box, the story behind the story, then type of thing.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
you should just like do like a documentary on it too. Like video. Like honestly, that'd be pretty badass.
Somebody has approached me to do that, and We're negotiating. Let's
Awesome.
keep it at that.
Get that green. Got to get that money, you know? Money
Yeah.
talk.
Absolutely.
Man. But that's badass. Like, now, when did you, like, how long have you been writing, like, short stories, and, like, how long did it take you to actually get published and stuff? Or
So I mean, I've got boxes and boxes of manuscripts up in the loft from when I could first write.
right.
I've always been writing stories. I've just never done anything with them. But my first book was Nikola Tesla, and I think that was about 4 years ago. And the first, generally, it takes me about 18 months to 2 years to write a book.
Yeah.
But these 3 that I've just done, I've literally written in 6 months because we had lockdown, so I was at home doing nothing.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do, just write. Plus, the story is writing itself because it's actually happening. So it's like
really?
writing a diary every day.
Now, I have a quick question for you. Do you have these in audio form?
Not yet.
Are they going to be available in audio form?
Yes, it has been spoken to about doing it in audio. Yeah.
All right, good deal. Because sometimes, like, you know, me personally, I love to read, but sometimes I get so busy with everything else in life, it's just like it's hard to sit down and like read a book, you know.
Yeah.
Let alone a big one.
Yeah. No, it's a work in progress, that bit.
But I will say this: like during my last deployment, I read over 75 books. So
wow. Okay.
time. Trust me, a lot of downtime.
Quarantine life.
It wasn't quarantine. It was like you do your shift, and then you're like released for like you do 3 days shifts, like you're on duty 3 days straight, then you're off for like 7, like, you know, type of thing.
True.
So all you can do. But anyways, now what was your favorite story that you've written that's been
probably the music box one that I'm writing now, because it's a lot darker than anything I've actually written up to date. Yeah.
How dark are we talking?
Pretty dark. I've been injured. Look, I've been injured by this spirit. So it's pretty dark and it's pretty full on. He's I'm going to use this term. I don't know if other people have used it. I call it psychic rape, not as in rape, as in the way you'd think it. Every time I went to relax, I'd sit down with a cup of tea, or I'd just sit down just to watch TV and chill out. He would give me a vision of basically we call him Grandpa Arthur, but his real name is Robert Arthur Davis, and he killed his granddaughter, and he showed me how he killed her. And
no kidding.
No,
did it like come into you like in a dream, or was it like a vision type of thing?
It was more of a vision, but I've had dreams as well. But when I had 3 days where he literally, it was almost like he attacked me every time I went to relax, and he wore me down. And I had a psychic who was helping me. He was texting me, telling me to send him this guy to him. He would deal with him. He deals with demons and other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I can't. He says he's going to hurt you if I do. And he was like, no, it's fine. Send him to me. And he gave me the vision of all the smoke, and because he burnt her body afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped into the bathtub to try and get these flames out of my head. It was just too much for me. And my friend texted me and said, what have you just done? Because my shirt is absolutely soaking. And I said, I've had to jump into the bath to get rid of the flames. 2 weeks later, he had a heart attack. which he's okay now, but that's how strong this person is. And so it's been hard. I've had a lot of people looking out for me and a lot of people praying.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they say it's your spiritual journey. You have to deal with this. So I have been dealing with it in my own way. This particular spirit is now bound to me until such time as I either find this music box, or he relinquishes and he allows me or somebody to cross his granddaughter over. But at the moment, he won't allow that.
Oh, wow. Now, when you say, like, we were talking earlier that when you went to that festival they were talking about.
Yeah, the Festival of the Unexplained.
Can you tell us that story? So everybody can hear it. I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lovely lady called Karen Frey who runs Keep Paranormal here in the UK. And I've been very privileged to go on a lot of her paranormal events and things. And she did a Festival of the Unexplained a couple of weeks back now, where people all across the world came together and they had a slot. They were interviewed. They would talk about everything and anything. So Ouija boards, fairies, ghosts, creepy dolls, you name it. Somebody had a subject on it. They did readings, all sorts. And on the 24th of October, they are doing another one. And every day, they started today, they will release the name of somebody who they're going to interview or have as part of the festival. But last time it went on a lot longer than what it was supposed to go on. They had such a huge response to it. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the link will be on my page later as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Honestly, that sounds like a
make sure you watch it. It's going to run a lot longer this time, but it's absolutely fantastic. And the whole team that work on it have done a brilliant job. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Honestly, I wish we could go to something like that, but you know.
Yeah, well, it's a free online thing. You know, they used to do
it's just all online.
It's all online. They used to do it in a venue, but because of lockdown, they started doing it online, and they just had.
Definitely want to check it out.
Then. Yeah, they had such a great response to it, and they've got it on YouTube as well. It's brilliant, absolutely. I mean, I learned so much from watching it.
That's awesome, honestly, because like we cover all those different subjects. We do conspiracy theories, UFOs, paranormal.
You would have loved the last one. You'll have to check it out. Yeah, I think you can still watch them on YouTube.
Really?
Absolutely brilliant. They covered all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I'm currently trying to find somebody to do a vampire interview with. I reached out to this guy in New Orleans that actually lives like a vampire, but he like pays people to drink like just little tips. I don't know, like a little bit of his blood and stuff like that, and it's really wild story. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I do like vampires, I have to say.
I do too. I mean, I think it's like everybody's fascinated with him, but I'd rather be like a vampire fairy, like on True Blood. But just saying, I like sunlight. Both worlds, you know. Just gonna say, you know. Not anything has to be dark, like Interview with a Vampire. Although that's what I'm going to call it when we get them.
When you get it.
Someday, a boy could dream. Anyways, what was I saying? Put this. What does this say? Watching from
Sandia National Laboratory, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that is cool.
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I like cover abroad. Like you're the first author that we've ever had on. We've had a couple psychics on. We've had tons of paranormal investigators on, including ourselves.
Yeah.
But at some point this season, we are going to do our paranormal story at some point during the season, maybe for our season finale, season 2 finale or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps on asking, because they've heard me on different podcasts and stuff like that talking about it. And I just don't really like. Well, you can listen to the podcast, you'll hear little clips of it, because mine's, it's pretty dark, and it's also like, good stuff and bad stuff, but it's a lot of dark into it, and I don't really, feel comfortable getting into it.
Yeah, mine's like yours, on and off. It's just in and out, darkness and light and everything like that. Yeah. So you want to help us with a book if we do one?
Yeah, of course I will.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be a good paranormal experience there, Jake.
I'm going to call mine, I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. I'm a psycho. Nah. But honestly, now, what is the character you relate to most to in your books that you're writing?
Probably the main character, Helen, because everything is new to her. So she's a newbie. She's just kind of trying to find her feet and find out why these things are happening to her. And from my point of view, as I said, I thought I was cursed for 40 odd years. So I would avoid places where the energy affected me, so to speak, until my 2 little ones were at the ticket office in front of me, and they were whispering and nudging each other. And I heard one turn to the other and say, I wonder how long Mummy will be in here before she gets affected and has to go sit in the car.
Oh, I know that feeling. Trust me. Like,
and I was like, okay, maybe I should figure this out.
Again, was it last week's show that we're talking about that? Like, I get horrible anxiety when I go into a crowd or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
You can walk into so many places and like you just feel the energy. And it's like either it's going to pull you up or pull you down. It's just like wherever people's vibes with, you can walk up to somebody that you don't even know and be like, I can get along with this person because I can feel the aura off of them.
Yeah.
But you can also like tell if like, I don't like this guy. He's a total dick. No, I'm not going to waste my time with him. You know what I'm saying?
But, yeah. No, I get heavily affected by that because I've not, up until now, I've not learned how to, they call it closing down. Yeah. I've always been what they say I'm like a lighthouse. I'm like a beacon. I've just been open.
Yeah.
And so I've avoided places, whereas I've learned now how to recognize different energies and things. So I'm learning how to find my feet and deal with them so I can go a bit further. So this weekend I've got an investigation tomorrow night, but then on Sunday I'm going to a castle, and it's castles, I love them, but normally I'm affected like within the ground.
Oh yeah, the history alone.
So I'm hoping that I can get further inside this time.
I mean, especially the old country. I mean, I would love just to go vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love going to older places here, but before people really took over the land, the old Native American lands or the old Viking land and stuff like that. I mean, you can actually feel that type of stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to experimenting, I suppose.
Right. But you just gotta go in there with an open mind and an open heart. But it is true that people that are connected, like an empath, I can't pronounce but they're like, if they're new to it, they're like a beacon. Like they're not gonna, every spirit you're gonna hear and everything you're gonna feel because they know that they can see that you're connected to them somehow, and they just want to get their story out, and they're like gonna do anything possible to get your attention, whether it be touching you, talking to you, poking you.
It's hard work.
And it's like, and then you'll have like different types of voices in your ear and in your head. You'll be going to sleep, just keep on, going at it with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I find it very difficult, but the more I've gone out there, the more investigations I've been on, the better I've been able to handle it. And I'm actually at the point now where I get excited because I'm going there, and I always go in cold. I don't know too much about the place. I just go in. And I've started doing a bit of automatic writing, and I've started drawing, sketching some of the images that I get. And I've had them matched up with different places that I've been to.
Oh wow! You just like having visions of yourself actually going there. You can actually see yourself doing that before.
Yeah. I went 2 weekends ago to an airfield, Rougham Airfield, it was called, and I'd had a vision of a very large plane that had crashed, and I kept saying it crashed on takeoff. And when we got there, it wasn't until almost just before we were leaving that I found a little A4 sheet by some wreckage that they had in one of the little sheds. And it said that this Lancaster bomber had taken off and crashed not long after taking off. And this was some of the wreckage. And they said one person survived. Well, in my little sketch, there was one little person stood next to the plane, one survivor. And that was pretty cool to have that validated.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, man.
I wouldn't know.
It's getting stronger. It's really good. It's quite exciting when it happens.
Oh yeah, you're like, whoa, I am right. Oh my god.
That feeling of being right is really smug.
I knew I was right. I told you. All you blokes didn't believe me.
I'm so
that was pretty much how it went down at Rougham.
I could have my English come out.
Yeah. It's much better than mine.
Hello.
I know. Good old chap. Hotting on.
Yeah.
I'm editing English.
It's better than me at it.
What's that?
I said you're better at it than me.
Oh Lord!
But I'm Somerset, so I'm cider and tractor country.
Only language I haven't mastered is the West Virginian. I've not learned the country. I'll tell you a little quick story. The first time I moved to Virginia, when I first moved to Virginia, I come from Vermont, which is really northern, straightforward talk and stuff like that. We have our own little slang and stuff like that. But I was a delivery driver, and I went to this little small town called Pickaway, West Virginia, probably population like 500. And I didn't have no clue or anything like about it. I'm following my GPS, and the direction on the ticket said, go past the second graveyard, look to the right, you'll see some trees. So I'm like, well, at least they put this phone number. I called the guy up, and I'm like, hello. And he's just sitting there talking. You ain't gonna go down there. I'm like, huh? You ain't gonna go down there like that. No, she's. I'm like, oh my god, I don't. I'm like, I'll call you back, sir. I called up my dispatcher, and I'm like, I can't understand a damn thing this dude's saying. Can you please translate for me? And I wasn't trying to be mean or rude or nothing like that, but he had such a thick mountain West Virginia accent.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand it better now. I still can't speak it. I mean, I can try to and make fun of them, but and joking wise. But I have it's such a different.
If I was talking my broad, what is broad Somerset, you wouldn't understand.
Oh, do it!
I'm being good tonight. I've got my good one on.
You can test our waters. Let's. I mean.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna put this theory on here from Magnet Vortex.
Wow.
You never know. That'd be like the type of Matrix type of theory where everything is like, a virtual reality, and you're just taking it's a blue pill or the red pill. Choose your fate.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I just want my money back, man, because this world right now.
Can we go back a couple of extra years?
Honestly. Let's make it a good 20, just for good measure.
Oh,
But
dear.
Now you said you had 4 books out. Now you got this trilogy, which could be more. Now, what do you think of like adding on to your first book? No, the one that does not have a sequel or nothing like that.
Yeah. I have a book full of ideas to add another one to that one, because my Tesla series, everybody loved them, and they didn't like the way I ended the 4th book.
Really?
And they were like, we want more. So possibly at the moment I'm really into the Between Realms books. So if I get to a stage where I'm completely out of ideas, then I may go back and do another Tesla one and then skip back.
Right.
But I have actually been asked to I've been helping out with the film crew that have been doing a documentary on a house not far down the road, and they said that I should do something. We actually gave it a title of Empath Explores, where I go around different locations and just literally write a book about the different locations from a newbie point of view, so that other people can use it as a sort of a guide, which was quite interesting to sort of sit and think about.
Right.
So there's a lot of ideas out there.
That'd be kind of cool, just to see. Now, have you ever thought about taking the Telsa books and putting them into these type of your other books, like seeing if they could merge?
Kind of, but the Tesla books, there is an alien entity within it, so that he can time travel.
Oh,
so
even better. That would
yeah,
totally turn into the
and there's an orb,
Mhm.
and basically a woman from the future goes back in time and meets him when he's at Wardenclyffe.
Right.
The only trouble is, every time they travel through time, they have to do it naked.
I'm gonna start it.
So yeah, it's
That's awesome.
yeah. Well, I figured you couldn't go through time with clothes on, so I just omitted them.
Yeah.
They get into all sorts of trouble. Yeah, they get into all sorts of trouble. The first book, Awakening, is set in the 1940s when Tesla was at Wardenclyffe. Then you have them going into the future, and then the third book is going back into the past again, and then the 4th book is going way into the future.
Oh wow! So it's like time jumping the whole time.
Yeah.
Now, are they bringing any type of characters with them or anything like that? To add more to their story.
Yeah, he still has his interactions with Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stories, I did a lot of research on Nikola Tesla, and there are events throughout his life that seemed a bit unexplained.
Right.
Different things, like he was knocked over by a cab and thrown 20, 30 feet across the floor. And he didn't want any police or anything. He didn't want a doctor to see him. And you just wonder what that was all about. There was something more to that. And also he would go to feed the pigeons at night, and everybody knows pigeons roost at night. They don't come out and play, so to speak. Even if you kind of spook them, they'll just go back up and find somewhere else. Right. So what was he doing in the park every night at midnight when he said he was feeding them? And I have a few theories myself, and a few of them I put in the book.
Now, would there be any type of butterfly effect or anything like that, or time ripple?
Yes, there was. You'd have to read them. I'm not going to spoil it, but
no, don't spoil it. But
there was a few butterfly effect, but rippled throughout all 4 books.
And this book right now is available on Amazon?
They are available on Amazon, yes.
And what's it called?
So the first one is, I'm looking at because I have to remember. The first one was Awakening. The second one was Tesla's Journal.
Wait. I'm putting it on. Bye. Miss Graces, slow down.
To say I can.
There we go. Make sure you guys all get that onto your Nooks. Order it on Amazon.
The first one is, where's my thing? So the first one is Awakening.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
And then you have Tesla's Journal.
All right, wait 1 second. Let me get that name down. All right. Is that spelling correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the third one was called New Beginnings.
All right. Now, all of these books are available on Amazon. So
and these are all on Amazon. And the fourth one was Beyond the Dome.
Beyond. Is that like the movie or that show that used to be on the Dome?
No, I never watched it. I don't watch a lot of TV, so.
Oh, well, fuck me, right?
I'm too busy writing.
Yeah. There we go. And they're all available on
Amazon and ebook.
or the Nook. Are they available on the Nook, right?
They're ebook with Amazon. Yeah. It's all via Amazon. So if they've got them on there now, then it should be able to be converted to that. Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody ever wanted to get a signed copy or anything like that, how would they go about doing this?
So if you go to Facebook, I have a page. It's the swirly at Tasha Brown.
Wait, let me see. Oh, actually, can you write it in the comment and I'll put it on?
Yeah.
That works the best.
And if you get hold of me, then I can get signed copies sorted and out.
Awesome.
Can you see that? I don't know if I put it in the right bit.
No, you put it in the private one. Wait 1 second. I don't want to copy everything.
I don't do technology. Have you guessed that yet?
Let's see. Control V. Boom. Look at me, technology. Huh. I'm moving places on the Facebook.
Yeah, and if you're on Twitter as well, you can just grab me on Twitter and message me, and I will and I can sort out copies then.
Okay, awesome. So now, do you mind talking about your paranormal experiences at all?
No, they carry on.
Okay, so what age were you when you had your first paranormal experience?
I think I was between 3 and 4.
Oh wow, quite young.
Yeah, now, my nana died when I was quite young.
Okay, how old were you when what happened?
My last vivid memory of her was when she pulled me to one side and told me that I was special, and she said, "You are a sensitive." She didn't say you are sensitive. She said you are a sensitive, and she said you will remember. And I used to have a photographic memory, so that's how I can remember this. And she would say, never ever play with Ouija boards, and never ever look into a mirror after dark.
Oh,
and
really?
I always remember that. And then one day she wasn't there. She just wasn't there. And I remember my mum and my mum and my auntie emptying her wardrobe out. And and I remember seeing my nan stood behind looking really sad. And I went to say, you're making Nana sad. And she just went, shh. And that's when I kind of shut up and was like, no, I'm not going to say anything then. That was my first. And then obviously I've seen and sensed things before then. But we've been in this house. I've lived here 15 years, I think it is. And it was 3 days after I moved in that I saw my first full-bodied apparition that is attached to this house.
Oh, wow.
So,
Now, did you like have any communication with them, or?
I tried, but this particular chap is not a talker. He wears a peacock bluey green turban and a tunic with gold braiding that comes down. He's got a very sunken face.
Right.
Weathered is the only way I can describe it. And I first saw him in the bedroom above me, actually. This house is over 300 years old, and it used to be a cottage. And I met somebody who lived here 70 years ago, and she told me about the history of the house. And she said there was a family, a foreign family that lived here, but for some reason they just upped one day and left and never came back.
Right.
And this chap was part of that family that had lived here. And then the house was empty before we moved in. They tried to sell it for 9 months and nobody would touch it with a barge pole, basically. And we moved in and I started experiencing things. And my husband was like, no, he's a complete skeptic. He doesn't believe at all in anything like that, never has done. And so I just kind of kept quiet, I suppose, and didn't say anything. And then the atmosphere in the house changed when our relationship kind of got a bit rough. And we started having mail come through for the person who'd lived here 9 months before the house was empty. And I phoned up the estate agent and asked them to get him to come and collect it. Well, the chap came, and we were in the middle of we had asbestos in the walls and the ceilings. We had to have it removed.
Right.
And he came in and he was furious that the house was being changed and it should be left. And he put the kitchen in 30 years ago. And he was quite a nasty bloke. And I couldn't wait to get rid of him. So he took his mail and off he went. And the atmosphere in the house got really, really bad. And I remember being at the bus stop for the school talking to a friend, and she said, oh, how's everything at home? And I said, I could knife everybody in my house when I'm in there. I just physically can't stand anybody in there. The atmosphere in the house is awful. Don't know what's going on. And then on the Friday, she bumped into me. She said, how's it now? And I said, it's like somebody opened up a window and the house feels fine again. And she pulled a newspaper out of her bag and she said the chap that had come to collect his mail had a heart attack and drove his car through a shop window in one of the local villages, died instantly. And it was his funeral the day before that I was talking to her then. And the house was absolutely fine up until then.
Oh, that's crazy. Now, do you read? Can you read what's on the screen?
You will experience and have experienced every instance of so-called life. You, me, him. We are instances of the same life, separated by what we call death. Yeah.
Now, what do you think of that?
That's pretty full on, isn't it?
Interesting philosophy.
It is.
I mean,
but from my point of view, if you'd asked me 7 or 8 years ago, I probably would have said to you that I was afraid to die, which probably most people would give you that answer. They would be afraid to die. Having died and experienced the things that I have experienced, I'm not afraid.
All right. Makes sense.
Because it's instilled, I've always had my faith, but it's instilled in me that what is beyond isn't anything to be afraid of at all.
That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's up. So like with me, when I first, my family first moved here, we had a lot of experiences at this house in particular. Like we were walking down the stairs and we had a painting on the side of the wall and we're going down the stairs and the thing literally unhinged off the wall and flew at us and like glass smash all about, came out that close from, get to me right here. And like
we get a lot of that.
And for another instance, like me and my daughter were just sitting there on the couch and the dishwasher opened and the tray slid right out. We've got door handles jiggling at night and everything like that. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we get a lot of that here. And since Grandpa Arthur has been here, I've had a painting that looks like it's crying, which is quite surreal. A lot of stomping around. Bookcase has been pulled over a few times. What else? Just a whole heap of things. The TV goes on and off, and you can't turn the sound down. But the batteries are new. I mean, we've always had orbs and things. I mean, like I said, we've lived here 15, 16 years. My family will not actually stay in this house overnight. And I've had big parties at Christmas. We've had like 27 over for Christmas dinner. Right. But come midnight, they either sleep in the caravan in the drive because they would rather not sleep, or they'll drive home. They won't stay in the house, even though we've got bedrooms for them.
Right. Just don't like the feeling of the house itself. Now, have you tried blessing your house? Like whatever religion you are?
I'm an angel intuitive. So once a month I will cleanse my house anyway. Since Grandpa Arthur's been on the scene, it's been a year since that particular haunting has started up with the music box. I cleanse the house every couple of weeks and it's been blessed a number of times. We have a resident lady who lived here a few years ago that funnily a psychic medium picked up on a live a few weeks back and was talking to me, and she's lovely. And I know that my nana, she's here. She's never been to this house. She died way before we even thought of this house, but she's here, and she'll walk through. But he's above the things that I do, which is quite scary. So, yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, the only time I know when I can't do anything in the house is when I've got a set of imps that come into the house and cause trouble, and they've been on. I've caught them on the CCTV camera before, creating havoc. And when they're in the house, their energy seems to put him off, and it's almost like he's stood in a doorway and he can't come in when they're here. Right. So I kind of like it when they're here causing chaos because he can't come in.
Right. Now, how come like you think he can't come in? Just because
the energy, the
energy itself. I mean, is his
two energies are different. Yeah, imps have a really, how can I put it? Like a really intense. If you were to put your hand on a bed of nails and you could feel that sharp, if you like, right. Whereas it's different to when you have pins and needles in your hand.
Right.
They're just two different energies, like two sides of a battery, that they just physically won't come together. I can't explain it any further than that. But when they're in the house, he can't get in, and that riles him up.
I bet you it does. He gets probably all angry and
because he's bound to me now.
Yeah,
you can feel that. I always know when he's in the house.
Now, have you tried like any type of like, I don't know, like an EVP recorder or anything like that to see if you can hear anything from him? Have you got anything good from it?
Yep. That's how I got his name. the Robert part of it. I
Right.
had my SB7 spirit box on,
Yeah.
and I was recording, and I'd been almost badgering him, I guess, asking him question after question after question, and suddenly he's just said Robert, and I said, "Oh, your name's Robert," and then suddenly it changed, and you could hear him growling. He was getting quite angry because I was sort of getting through. And when I said, you know, you need to cross over, I've got a prayer for the dead, I'm going to say this, he got quite cross with me. I got pushed over, hit my shoulder against a door frame and hurt my arm because I was holding the iron skillet in this hand, and I was conscious of the fact that I didn't want to drop it on the floor and burn the carpet or set the house on fire.
Oh, wow.
And as I'm down on my knees, sort of, he pulled my shoulder out basically, and I'm down on my knees holding the skillet going, okay, I need to get up, I don't want to drop this, but I'm in a lot of pain. It was like wind rushed past me as he raced past me and stomped down over the stairs. So yeah, he can get pretty mad.
Hey, there I am. Like, my thing got muted for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, so like now you say that you've been pushed and scratched and everything like that. Like, what type has it left any like symbols on you? Or has it left like
I did have a while back, I had like 3 like scratches down across me here, but I've not been marked. This is the shoulder and my wrist is the first time that I've really been injured, if you like. I've been laid in bed and I've had the duvet up under my chin, and it's been literally yanked from my hand.
Oh, wow.
Which basically freaked me out. It did get to the stage where he wore me down so much I was going to take pills to bed because I'd had enough.
Right.
And I was like, if I die, then I can come and beat your ass on a more level. But I've got some really good spirit guides, and they basically yelled Tasha at me, and I called in Archangel Michael, and he appeared at the bottom of my bed, and bam, everything went quiet.
Right.
But that only lasted a couple of days, and then the bugger was back.
Damn.
It's been hard work.
I imagine so. I mean, it's gotta be tiresome. Like, you're dealing with all this other stuff.
It's very draining because you know, I've gone down the route that everybody says, you know, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to stand up to him, and it's been hard, which is why I'm eager to get his story into my books and get it out there so that people can see, you know, that
truly understand what you are actually going through, and like what the experiences that you have, and like now you have a documentation where you can sit there and say this, and then you're also doing this story behind the story, which I think is pretty cool. I really think you should definitely do that documentation. I would love to watch that, whether it be a YouTube documentation, like document, you know, or whatever, or like either in.
I'm hoping to be able to use. I've got a new camera to figure out how to use it so that I can capture stuff on there and then upload it so that people can see a lot clearer what's been going on. I've got the odd clip of things moving in the kitchen and orbs flying around, but
don't get some people started on orbs.
I know.
Lord knows you will get caught.
Rein it in.
Rein it in. Let's go. Come on now. You don't need no Twitter beef or YouTube beef.
I'm already cursed. Get on with it.
Oh, bloody hell. You already don't like me anyways. I'm always trying to give you a reason not to like me more. You know? Might as well. It's a touchy subject.
But a lot of people, yeah. A lot of people find it, and that's what I'm learning in the paranormal. You find investigators who don't like mediums, or they don't like automatic writing, or they don't like the orbs, or they don't like this, or they don't like that. And I mean, I've been lucky. The different groups that have invited me along on their investigations, you get to see the differences that
how
each
they
group.
operate, because
Yeah,
every group, especially if you're by yourself and you're not into a particular group, like I'm pretty much an individual now, like I'm not a part of no groups, like you see different people's like how they investigate and how they handle certain situations and how skeptical they really are, because like somebody could say that they're like super skeptical and everything like that, but then when you go on an investigation with them, next thing you know, any little noise, they're like, oh my god, it's a demon.
Yeah. It's always a demon. It's never anything nice.
I know, exactly. Like we used to have this one person that used to watch our YouTube show, and we weren't even talking about paranormal and nothing like that. Next thing you know, we'll look over in the chat and it's like, there's a demon behind you. I see demons. I see glowing eyes. I'm like, I want 2 of what you're on. Honestly.
They took the blue pill.
I mean, no, just like that whole thing was just like a big mess, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, except for people, and that like really upsets me sometimes about the paranormal community, especially in the States, is that instead of everybody just uniting and becoming one, and and like supporting each other, like I mean, honest to God truth, I go through 90%, I would say 95% of my time trying to support other people and be nice to people and like show them kindness, show them like genuine how you really are in real life,
Yeah.
Like instead, these people are out there, hey, if you don't agree with somebody, tell them why you don't agree with them. Teach them, not sit there and put them on blast when you have such a larger, broad, audience than they do. You know what I'm saying? Like
we have a thing here called para unity.
Yeah.
And they're really, I've seen it being pushed quite a lot at the moment to try to unite a lot of the groups. I mean, there are a few groups you're sort of weary of.
Yeah.
But the majority of them, I mean, I'm going away this weekend with it's a team only event on Saturday, and I think there must be 4 or 5 teams, but they are really nice. They're so welcoming. They take the time to let you observe what they're doing before you go off, and I think we have like 6 hours of being able to investigate on our own. But some of that time, it'll be really nice to just watch everybody else.
Yeah, learn from other people. Like when I first started paranormal investigating, I didn't know nothing. I knew like what I was feeling and everything like that, and that's what drove me to start doing that. But now I've been in it for a while, that I like to teach people. Like just because you're like one of my last investigations that we had, I had a person contact me to go check out where he works because he had 2 co-workers died, and ever since those 2 co-workers died, they've been having a lot of activity. He wanted me to go there, and he also had a lot of questions himself about the whole paranormal world. And I showed him how we do it. You can't just go off of me personally. I don't really like using apps. Like some apps are better than others, but like I'm really highly skeptical of it. Some groups believe in them quite a bit. You look at some of these bigger ones like Oh My Gosh and some of those type, they use it nonstop. The necrophonics and that whatever. I think it's like Rasputin or something like that. I mean, I've never used that one, but I have used necrophonics on a couple occasions. Because you never know. I mean, honest God truth, because only thing I have a problem with, you have other investigators that'll tell you that you should get activity every single place you go. And that's my personal opinion, which I do respect theirs. My personal opinion is no, you can't. unless you have something attached to you.
Got a
Unless you have
visitor?
something attached to you. What's that? No. Anyways, unless you
Yeah.
have something attached to you, and you'll actually see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you'll know if you're
5 minutes up the road. We have Shepton Mallet Prison, and the first time I went there, I had a walk-in. Lasted 10 minutes. I didn't know about walk-ins back then. Didn't know that I'd had the walk-in until I listened to my digital recorder the next day. All I knew was 1 minute I was stood in one position, and I was found on the floor a couple of feet away, going, I was watching a white light moving in a corridor. Why am I on the floor? And it's one of the first experiences that I used in my book. But I've been to Shepton Mallet because it's only just up the road. I'm a member now. I can go in and out as often as I want. And I've been there dozens of times. And I can probably say maybe 5 or 6 of those times have definitely, I've walked in there and gone, wow, it's so flat in here. There's nothing here today. So you don't get it every time, you know, and I can go there, not pick up anything, maybe have the odd EVP, and that's it. And then other days you go there and you got your coats being tugged, or you'll hear something, or you'll see the guard walking along the railings on the top. It's not going to happen. They're not there to perform for us.
Right. I mean, I've been to certain places a couple times over and over, and it all depends on, like, you know, the night and the energy of the place, you know. It also depends on like what the weather's like, because I think personally, I always have more experiences when it's raining or something's going on, activity where they can actually draw more energy out, you know, to actually, you know, really communicate with you. I mean,
I find if I go when there's a full moon, because I don't know whether it's because it's draining, or I've never had a good investigation when there's been a full moon.
Oh, really? I've had some pretty good ones when it's been full moons. I've been to a couple prisons and everything like that, and I've had some pretty good experiences. I've been to a couple courthouses, had some good experiences. The places I really never have a heck of a lot of activities like is cemeteries. I understand why people do it, but my theory is like, I think a spirit would be attached to the place that they passed rather than the place that they're forever in rest.
If they're in a cemetery, they've had a proper burial, so why would they hang around there? Unless it's a pauper's grave and they've not had a proper burial, they could probably, in my view, be there, but otherwise, no, they wouldn't. So I don't tend to bother. I've the prison, a school, Smethwick Baths is a good one. Where else have I been? A couple of castles, a couple of old houses. I've got the mansion that I use in my book. That's it's about a 40-minute drive from here.
Oh, really? Did you like use the same type of layout and everything like that?
Yes. I used the original layout because the house has been done up for weddings. They do weddings there now. But when I was in my early 20s, I worked there as a nanny. And it was about 3 years I worked there. And I had the run of the house with the youngest child. And it was pretty full on active then. So I used the layout that they had before. Because they've kind of done it up a little bit. They still have loads of activity. The staff that work there are not allowed, it's in their contract, they're not allowed to say anything about what happens within the grounds, which is why when the film crew went there to do a documentary on the house and the history, they had a demonologist who turned up there as well. And I didn't know he was a demonologist. I just saw this guy walking around, thought he was one of the film crew, you know, just ignored him. But I was brought in because the owner knew that I used to work there, and I knew what he called the hot spots, if you like.
Anyways, okay. Like there's a sound, like it sounds like my door is opening, and like that back door. It's like that.
Like called something in.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I got trust and believe. I got spirits all over here, but that's for another story. Maybe like I said, the season 2 finale. They're all playful. I mean, I get along with all of them, so it's not like they're not out here to hurt me or nothing like that. You know,
That's
sometimes they do stuff. Man, they ain't doing nothing.
You don't want them to
malicious.
hurt you.
No, I've had people like we had one at my mom's house. When I grew up, that place was haunted. That was buried like near Native American land.
Okay.
It was off and on, but my parents ended up buying a house about 2.5 hours from me. And the thing is that before they found out why it was so cheap, there was a triple homicide there where the guy ended up he killed his wife and his 2 kids and ended up taking the gun to himself afterwards.
Oh,
That
wow.
place was extremely
Yeah. That
I probably
explains a
stayed
lot.
there. Yeah, I only stayed there like 6 months, and like I was like, I am not doing this. No, not today, Satan. You know what I mean, but there was a lot of different experiences, you know, going up there, anything like that. But anyways, yeah, I mean, as long as they're not malicious or anything like that, I don't have a real problem with it. I mean, I do like Heidi was saying last week, yeah, I do get excited. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, but I still get excited to talk to, like, you know, ghost spirits or anything like that, you know, whatever you want. Just something from the other world, because I have a hard time, me personally, I have a hard time interacting with people in person. Like, my whole life, like, I would say probably the last 10 years or so, like, I'm always in charge. I have to be. I'm the alpha. I take charge of a lot of things, you know, like I don't sit back and listen to you. I'm gonna take the lead. Like at work, I'm a boss there. I'm a pretty high rank in the military still. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, so I have that sense of like I'm the alpha. I'm gonna take charge of everything, and I like take charge of like talking to ghosts and talking to spirits and like not let them know that I'm the alpha, they're the beta type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I get excited.
I have a hard time with that.
What's that?
So
What's that?
I've been told I need to be more assertive when it comes to the spirits and not badger them or anything, but just be like, this is my domain, you know, you can't keep invading it. But I'm a bit I'm a bit like, yeah, whatever, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. You do you do you.
Exactly.
And but it's fun. I mean, like 90% of the investigations, I always have a good time. We always end up laughing and joking around and stuff like that. Nothing too bad. We've had a couple bad ones. Like Brandon joined us on one bad one that really freaked me out because like I was dreaming about blood for like a couple weeks afterwards and having really messed up dreams, like sleeping lower than I already do. You know, like I average probably about 4 or 5 hours right now. I was sleeping probably about 2, 3 of good sleep. You know, it's like, and like waking up and just like feeling like you've been grabbed and like waking up at the devil's hour. You know, it's pretty. I'm not scared. It's pretty wild stuff. But do you do a lot of castles and everything like that? Because I know I have friends, Dustin and Lisa, that always talked about they wanted to do a castle. Like, would love to do one.
It's been a long time since I've done a castle. It must be a good 6 years, because the last castle, I was chased out by something. I don't know what it was, but I felt physically sick. I had stomach cramps, and I had to get out. The further away from the main house, the better I was. So we walked down through the gardens for a little while, but we had to go back through the house to get to the car park. So I literally ran through the house to get back to the car park. And the only way I can describe it is I was being watched the whole time.
Oh, really? Now, do you ever wake up?
It put me off for a little bit, which is why I'm excited about going this weekend to this castle, because I'm like, I'm going to do this. I might be in a corner sucking my thumb and rocking, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, like it's pretty intense. Like I went to one place before, and I was so intimidated by it. It's like the history alone of it like blew my mind, and like you hear the horror stories and everything like that. I thought I was gonna like have the worst time ever. In fact, I did have like the best time ever. I got some of the best EVPs I've ever gotten in my life. I've gotten like some of the best personal experiences. Like, and I tell people that it's like when it comes to paranormal like experiences and stuff like that, the best detector besides all equipment you can get, is yourself. Yeah. It's all about your personal experience. If you're not trying to go out there trying to get rich and famous, you don't need to go out and buy all this high tech, gizmos and gadgets and everything like that. Use yourself. Use what's available to you. Use your surroundings, and you can communicate with them just fine. If you're going out there trying to like document it, yeah, you want to have your camera, or a cell phone to record videos, or just a cheap $20 camera just out there. Hey, and you don't need all this other funky stuff,
When I went to Wrexham a couple of weekends ago, I've got a camera with an infrared on, and I've got obviously my digital recorders. I didn't pull anything else out. I have my spirit box and everything. I didn't. I just had my pencil and my pen, and my friend had the camera, and I literally just did some automatic writing. I picked up more doing that than anybody got from their K2 meters or their spirit boxes or their special gizmos that they had. And my stuff was validated. So that was, for me, that was kind of proof that you don't need anything.
No.
You just need to sit quietly.
No. You just gotta sit there and listen to what's being told to you, man.
I mean, my friend Dave, he was watching me write. I didn't realize he was watching me write at the time. And I wrote stormy weather. Well, it was absolutely chucking it down the whole evening. We got completely drenched. So I thought it was that. But then I wrote remember me. And just as I wrote the next line, I heard I'm outside. So I got up and went outside, and there's a propeller, and it's on a stand from a crash they had. And there's a horseshoe-shaped wall with these little plaques all the way around. And I was drawn to one side of them, and I started reading them. And there was a mission or a plane that was called Stormy Weather. And it had the list of the names of the people underneath. And for me, that was the best validation ever. The investigator that was taking our group dismissed it. He was like, no. But he'd not given us the time to go around and have a look at any of the things. We didn't get to look at anything like the pictures on the wall or the memorabilia and stuff until right at the end when we'd done our investigation. So to have it validated like that was really cool.
Okay. That's really neat. Like, I love getting personal validation, whatever you want to call it. Just so you don't care if anybody else doesn't believe you. It's like whatever. I know the truth. Yeah.
It's a pretty good feeling because before I would have just thought it's just something that's in my head. The same with my book. I spent 3 weeks writing, these chapters, and then to have somebody phone me and say, this and this has happened, and it's all linked to a music box, blah blah blah. And they're telling me what I've written down, and I've not met these people before. That's kind of, it's not smug, but it does make you feel good because you're like, actually, there is something happening. There's something there that I don't understand it, but it's there.
I mean, honest to God truth, you're lucky to have that talent where you can actually you can express yourself through writing a book or something like that, where other people are like not as educated or whatnot cannot, how you want to say it, intelligently describe their situation, intelligently like
Yeah.
put into like, complete sentences or anything like that. I mean, they have a hard enough time, interacting throughout the world,
I'm hoping that by reading my books, they'll, if they're in the position that I was in where they feel they're cursed or whatever, that they can start associating with it, and maybe it will help them on their journey, so that because I don't do crowds, can't stand them. And for me, going like to the castle, I would avoid anywhere where the energy would make me feel uncomfortable. The same with crowds and things. So by writing it down and expressing myself and learning about what energies and why those energies are making me feel that way has opened up my life. And I'm traveling the country. I'm a country girl. Normally I go down little lanes, and that's me. That's me done. I'm on the big girl roads now. I'm going 400 or 500 miles across the country.
I'm not hearing behind you though. I'm not hearing that RSPCT. Don't you know what it is to me?
Yeah. But it is like that. If I'm in the car on my own and nobody can hear me singing, that's what it is.
I am the best singer ever. Like, I will know the lyrics of like a little bit here and there, but when those parts, I'm out there rocking that shit out, like I get all excited. I'm like, yes, I know what the line's coming up. Yes, just just start going ape shit on
I
it.
won't subject anybody to that.
The rest of the time, I'm just like sitting there. Comes to my lyrics.
Yeah.
Just
now I had going up to the airfield. That was a 6-hour journey. So I had 2 friends in the car with me, and we picked up a hitchhiker, a spiritual hitchhiker. On route. The sat nav just completely went a bit doolally. We ended up going through a military place, and Jess was in the front, and she said, "Did you see that soldier on the side of the road?" And Dave and I were like, "No." And I'm driving, so I'm supposed to notice things like that. No, I didn't see him. And then we could smell cigarette smoke in the back of the car, and none of us smoke. And I was like, I think we've picked somebody up. And the sat nav changed, and my sat nav is set so that I know where I'm going, A to B. It does not deviate. And in all the years I've used it, it does not deviate. And it did this particular day. On the way home, I was having a rant about something, and I said, am I right? And the sat nav went, yeah. And we all kind of looked, and Dave was sat in the back, and he said, did your sat nav just talk to you? And I was, yes. So 6 hours in the car with something that we picked up was quite interesting.
Back at me like, you didn't see nothing.
Nothing happened. We were asking it questions afterwards, like thinking maybe there's some fluke, it's going to start talking. It should only give you your directions, but it answered my question.
Oh, wow.
And we were kind of like, you heard that, right? And they were like, yeah. And I said, I wondered if it was a DVP, and I just thought that it came from there, but they heard it as well, and it came from the sat nav. And we were like,
oh, that is wild. That would have been an incredible experience, honestly.
But they're really looking forward to tomorrow's trip now. They're like, what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know.
I've been like talking to the whole time, like, hello, friend. Do you have something you want to tell me?
I did have a similar sort of conversation on the way out.
I would too, man. Like, not gonna lie.
I did get a few strange looks. But yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Strange looks is perfectly normal in my life, People
ask me all the time. They hadn't been to my house, and they came. It's a couple of weeks ago now. For the first time, they were only in the house for 5 minutes before the activity started, and I was waiting for them to go running, screaming down the drive. But they stayed, and then some mediums on the TV were talking about stuff, and it turns out they were talking about my house. And they're sat there and they're looking at each other, and they're like, ever since we've met you, the more time we spend with you, the more strange things happen around you. And I'm like, welcome to my life. This is the norm.
Exactly. You know, you just like everybody else is different. I'm totally normal. You guys, you know,
yeah. It's everybody else. If you don't have activity, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. You
No,
are.
I'm not crazy. Well, I'm going to keep telling myself I'm not crazy.
Just like I tell myself all the time, I'm the greatest dancer in the world. Everybody
I
else says
believe you.
you suck, but hey, I think I'm great. You know, I'm the next coming of Michael Jackson. You know? And-
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I'm living my best life. You know.
Yeah. And that's what counts.
Exactly. I'm happy. I tried. Like, I think I make people laugh. Brandon.
He's gone to sleep.
I know. You want to see a dead body? Where's Michael at? Michael's like, wait, can we do this? Can we reenact this? Let me see. Nope, not this one. Is it this one? Nope. There we go. Yeah, I want to see a dead body.
This one down here. Oh.
He is living his best life. You know?
He lived his best life.
Yeah. RP, homie. On the flip side. But no, man, like, you gotta laugh. Like, honest to God truth, man, like, there's so much hate out in this world and like so much negativity. You gotta laugh things off. And that's like, go back to our conversation before, and that's like one thing that's so disheartening about the paranormal community, especially this year. I don't know what it is. Like, everybody's just out to attack each other and like, oh, your evidence sucks. No, my evidence is the best. You know, it's like, whatever, man. Like,
they've all crawled out of the woodwork because they've got nothing better to do right now.
I mean, I wake up every morning and be like, I'll wake up at like 4:35, and I'll wake up and be like, yes, I'm going to be the best keyboard warrior ever. You know? Nobody can touch my keyboard warrior skills. I'm a motherfucking black belt in that shit. You know?
No, I did have, I apologize to anybody who's watching who's been on my Facebook page, because I did have a bit of a rant. Gosh, maybe last week sometime it was, because I had a bit of a dispute with a woman over a different matter, but then she came at me and
orb, was it?
no, it wasn't over at all. But she
Okay.
came at me and started saying how I shouldn't be putting my experiences into books because I'm sensationalizing the paranormal, and it's not like that. And I just literally let loose on my page and was like, if I want to write it, I'm going to write it. I'm going to put it in there. You can't stop me. You're not the one the hauntings are happening to. It's me. And I mean, she picked a bad day.
They're like, that's when you'd be like, don't talk to me right now. You don't want this side of me. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I did take a deep breath, and then I was like, how do I swear on this, and will I get away with it?
Figures. I hope you see. Did you use cap locks?
Yes.
That's when you know things are getting real. When you go all caps, you know.
I literally let loose. I was absolutely furious, and I didn't hold back, basically. So that was an interesting post, but she got the message.
Then she blocked you.
No, I blocked her before she could do that to me.
Man, you gotta wait till they block you just to get yourself a little bit of vindication, you know?
No, I was like, I'm so done talking to this woman. She did my head in. And I was like, no, you don't tell me what to write, because you're not experiencing what I've had to put up with.
And you know what you should have said to her? Do you want to be a character in my next book?
That might happen, yeah.
Never know.
You never know. You never know. We all want a character we can kill off.
Oh yeah, you know, you always gotta have that one guy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on one at the moment, actually.
You know, how are you gonna kill him off? How do I want to make this? Do I want to do it gruesome? Do I just want to make it simple? Do I make it evil? I mean,
yeah, I have turned pretty dark, actually, with where the stories are going. but it's a natural. It's gone from sort of, dare I say it, the orbs and the things falling off of shelves. don't grimace at me.
Don't at me. Those orbs are real.
I gotta have that on the bottom. Orbs are real. Yeah, to some pretty gruesome. A little bit of blood and gore, I think, is what's been written but not printed yet, shall we say?
Awesome. Like, how are you thinking about doing it?
And
we'll tell you, we'll be your gore meter, me and Brandon.
Yeah, because I'm going to this place tomorrow night. It's got quite a high rooftop to it, and I'm just thinking like a good shove.
Oh no! You gotta do more gruesome than that. You gotta do some like freak accident where they're in the kitchen walking through it, and they accidentally slip on water from the refrigerator. Reach up and grab the table where there's a knife on there, and when they pull, they grabs the tablecloth. Knife goes straight into the heart. Boom.
Thing is, I've had the gore of how the young girl Ella was killed by her grandfather. So
hashtag spoiler alert.
You know, yeah. Well, there's more to it than that. There literally that's
okay.
just like that much of a story that's like there, like really big.
It's like over there. Brandon, ready? I can hold up.
I can't see all of me on the screen.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got you. No, okay, what about slipping on a cart? This is like 1943, correct? This story?
Yeah. Well,
okay. What year is he gonna die?
It was when it's the Black County, what they're calling the Black. I've just found out I kept hearing the Black County, and it came out on my spirit box, and I just thought it was somebody's way of describing an area, but actually they actually call this area of England the Black County because of all the coal mines and the industry, the steel, the glass works. It was all to do with the smog and stuff.
Right.
So I mean,
we call
industrial
that coal
and coal mines, you know, collapsing and things like that. It's doable.
I would totally do some like
don't upset me. It's doable.
You tell the bitch, don't at me. You're not gonna like this. I'm gonna write out your death. I'm gonna have visions of it.
I may even bring a handgun into it.
No. You don't want to go nail handgun. You know, we want to go real sadistic. You want to get somebody you like rip off every single one of their nails, right? With a pair of tweezers and like rip up their nails. Then you take some bamboo and you stick it underneath their skin right there. Then you light that shit on fire.
I'll stick with the shortbread.
What's that?
I said I'll stick with the shortbread.
No. This is gonna be great. You how they do that.
Okay, when I get to that scene, I'll get hold of you and we'll have a little chat.
Oh,
you can help me write it.
Oh, I will go 6 levels of evil. I'll be like, hey.
I don't know how to do malicious.
See, this is why people should be happy when I drink. But no, they have me drinking water. I'm a little bit less sadistic when I'm drinking. I'm chill. You know, I'm usually way up here, but now I'm gonna be.
Oh, God.
It's okay. She time. But honestly, I really enjoyed interviewing you and everything like that. Tell everybody one more last time where they can find your stuff at.
So you can go onto Amazon to get printed or ebook, or you can go. You can direct message me on Facebook at Tasha Brown, or on Twitter, and I'm Earth Angel on Twitter. And you can direct message me, and I can sort out signed copies.
It's Earth Angel Tasha, correct?
Yes, something like that. I had to change it because during lockdown I got hacked, and I had to complete start again, basically.
Brendan knows about that life. We had to start over on his Twitter. It was
Oh,
rough.
yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yes, you lose all your followers and you're sad.
Yeah,
and
I
you're like,
did every single one of them. Yeah, and I had quite a good following. I was gutted.
yeah. And you're like, no, I worked so hard for this.
Yeah, I was gutted.
I'm sure.
But yeah,
And then, yeah, make sure you guys get her book. And honest to God truth, if like with all the jokes aside and everything like that, if you guys do have paranormal answers, you should read the book just because maybe it'll answer some of your questions and maybe it'll relate to you and like one of the characters will reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? Like mentally, where you can put yourself into their situation and understand it more. I really enjoyed our interview with you today and joking around and laughing with you and everything like that. And
thank you for having me.
And Brandon is chill.
Always.
Honestly, God, people, like, do this one thing for everybody, man. Like, spread a smile. Like, put some positivity in people's life. Show love, not hate, guys.
Absolutely.
Like, live by that positivity life. Okay. Peace. Wait till Brandon goes. Peace. Tasha, stay right there. I'll talk to you off the air.